Hello, how are you doing today?
Okay, how are you?
Good. So it's been a while since we talked last. Um, Tell me what's been going on in your life since we talked last.
Um, a bunch of stuff
Bunch of
has
stuff.
changed at work.
Yes, okay. Now, one thing we want to talk about again is before we get into everything is about the informed consent. And just to let you know that if you tell me something um, like any child abuse or elder abuse or anything like criminal activity, I'm a mandated reporter and I do have to report it. Okay, so just keep that in mind and just take a look at this and sign before we, get into having a discussion today. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, so you said that a lot of things have changed at work. So
Yeah.
what's been going on?
Um, just recently, my boss was let go and I got offered her position, so it's just kind of a shift of responsibilities and um, a lot of new stuff on my plate, I guess.
Wow. So all that's happened in one day, or?
Well, it's kind of been accumulating, but they weren't really sure what they were going to do, and obviously they don't really let you in on the details until they make a decision. So,
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, that makes sense. So how does it how does this affect you with more responsibilities?
what do you mean?
Well, I guess what I mean is, um, are you excited about this position change or?
Yeah, I'm excited. Um, I guess I just like want to know my expectations more clear cut. We went
Mm-hmm.
over some things, but there's just more details that I need. But um, my district manager wants to meet with me in the near future, so
Oh,
hopefully with that it will um, get addressed.
uh-huh. I see. So you just make sure that you know exactly what kind of duties you have, and
Yeah.
so that does it make you a little nervous that they let this other girl go as the manager at all, or?
Not really. Um, like I can see why they did, and it was an important thing. So, um, she was our general manager, so there's just like some things that shouldn't have happened on her watch,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily that it was her fault, but because it was her store, it
Mm-hmm.
falls under her watch. So I think that's kind of what it was. Even if it wasn't her fault, they still needed to make her take responsibility for it.
I see. So, and you're going to be the general manager? Is that what
Yeah,
the position is?
yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thanks.
So, how long have you worked here?
Well, I've only worked at that store for about, mm, I guess, 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
but I used to work a couple years ago at a different store,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked there for like 4 years. So um, I was manager for 2 of those years. So like I know my way around things and stuff. Obviously, there's always more room to grow, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm just hoping that I can get, you know, trained in the ways that I need to be, and
Mm-hmm.
then as soon as I do, I can be the best that I can be.
So it sounds like you're really excited about the change, and that you realize that more growth has to be made, and that's really good. That's really amazing that you recognize those things.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think anyone has ever, like, I don't know, I guess at the point where they could say they can't learn anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter what job you're in, there's always new things that come up, whether it's new policies or um, different way of doing things or
Mm-hmm.
just, making things better, even just for your own personal,
Mm-hmm.
um, I guess, like, your own personal way of doing it. It's just like, I don't think anyone can ever say in their job that, they they're perfect. Like, I think the only thing would be like if you do the same thing every day, like on an assembly line or something. But I think even then, sometimes there's still new things. So
So most of the time, basically, there's always room for growth in the
Yeah.
position. Is how you feel about it. I think that's true too. I agree with you. That's usually the way things kind of work out.
Yeah.
And it's good to develop yourself as a person, don't you think? Just
Yeah.
keep growing.
I mean, I think it's like sad when there's people that, I don't know, like they're just content where they're at, because it's like, I don't know, it just seems like there's always something that you could do better, you know?
Right. I think if everybody looked at it that way, things would probably run a lot better, huh?
Probably.
The store. So, when do you expect to begin this new position?
It's effective immediately, so I'm already kind of taking things over, but I know I'm gonna have to work a lot the next like couple weeks or so. Got a lot going on, so um, it's really just like perspective. I think. I don't know. I just try to take things as they come and not worry too much, because otherwise you just get overwhelmed, you know. So.
So your perspective is one day at a time, or less.
Yeah, I mean, especially like in the industry, because I'm in the restaurant industry, things are like that day to day, anyways. So it's hard to like say, well, from one day to another, what is really gonna happen, you know.
That makes sense.
I think if you like, not that you can't have expectations, but just like you don't want to expect one thing or another that could change. Like, there's a lot of variables, I guess. So.
Tell me about what are some of those variables that you have?
Well, like people calling in, or things that you don't know about that you couldn't like project for, I guess. Like, I don't know, like for example, sometimes we have like Canadian buses come, and like certain things like, you know, games or concerts, stuff like that, you can kind of like predict a little bit, because if you get a local calendar, stuff like that, like you kind of have an idea. But other things, they just sometimes happen. You don't always get a heads up. So you kind of have to take those things as they come.
So basically anything can change, and you just gotta kind of roll with the punches, right?
Yeah. That's why it's really important to have good managers, like not just the general manager, but the shift managers too, so that, you know, they're properly equipped for their job that day too.
Well, it sounds like you really have some good thoughts about how you're gonna manage this restaurant. I think that's really gonna help you out.
Thanks.
You seem like you're very, very business minded to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know this was going to happen right now or anytime in the near future, but it's something that I've wanted for a long time, so I've kind of been thinking that way for a while, you know, because I think, like, you have to, at some point when you become a manager, you have to start thinking about the business as a whole instead of just your part in it, you know, because otherwise it's like you can't always roll with it because you don't have proper, like I said, perspective, I guess.
That's really good. Now, what kind of hours are you gonna have to work there?
As a general manager, I have to work 45 hours a week, which is like 9 hours a day, and typically day shifts. I have to work 2 peaks, which is breakfast and lunch, or lunch and dinner. So either 7 to 4 or 10 to 7, and I have to work 10 to 7 either on Thursday or Friday, and I can choose which day, and then I have to close once a month. So.
Okay, so do you feel that these are better hours than you worked before, or?
I mean, I don't know. it's kind of hard to say. Like, I wouldn't say the hours were ever really bad because it's just like me and my husband just had to take different roles on at home and stuff. But um, I guess there's pros and cons to everything. When I had to close more, I didn't have to send my kids to the sitter during the day as much, which obviously, like, that's when they're awake the most, is during the day, so I got to spend more time with them. But then also, like, I'll get to be at home with my husband at night more, and, I don't know, like, I didn't have to pay as much for the sitter when I didn't have to work all days. Like I said, I think it's just kind of all perspective, just how you see it. There's two sides to every coin, so.
Mm. So do you feel like this is just kind of going to balance itself out? And there's probably some kind of a pay raise involved with this too, right?
Yeah, there's a pay raise. I guess I don't know what you mean by balance out.
Well, I guess what I mean is you're going to be working more day shifts and you're going to have to pay your sitter more money.
Yeah, but like it's not enough that either way it would really matter, I guess, that much. Obviously, like, my husband and I share like a bank account, so it's not like he doesn't contribute towards child care, but it's kind of just like, I don't know, like I'll definitely be taking home more because it's just the pay increase. So and there was weeks anyways when before that I would like have to work 5 days during the week, so it's not like I didn't have to pay my sitter then, for those days.
Well, that sounds good then, that you're financially, that's going to be a little bit better for you and your husband.
Yeah, and like it's actually kind of funny because we've been talking lately about how I need a new car, so it kind of worked out. Like, I mean, I think we were gonna be able to afford it anyways, but it's just kind of funny how it all fell together. Like, we hadn't actually bought a car yet, and we're still looking, and now I got a raise, so hopefully that'll help.
So now it's all going to come together. How nice. That is.
Sometimes life works out. Not always, but.
Right? Well, don't you think it does work out eventually? It just sometimes it takes a little longer to get there.
Well, I guess like the way I see it is like everything ends. So, you can't like always be so in the moment, like in a negative way, because it's like nothing lasts forever.
It's gonna change around to the positive eventually, right?
Well, it has to sometimes.
It's true.
It can't always be bad.
So, how is that gonna change your dynamic at home at all? From the different shifts, do you think, about your roles with you and your husband, or is that gonna stay the same, do you think?
I think it'll stay the same a little bit. Like, it's been kind of nice because I think my husband's taken on a bigger role as a parent since I've been back to work and stuff. But I think it'll be nice too because, like I said, I'll be home more at night, so I'll be able to be more involved with bedtime and routines and stuff. The only thing is, I think it might be a little bit harder some days because then my daughter doesn't always nap at the sitter, so that can kind of make bedtime harder or before bedtime harder. But I don't know, like, I also think that I don't know if my husband will really have a hard time with it because he's pretty good about that kind of stuff, but I'm going to be making more money than him now, so I don't know. I know different people see things differently, but just like you know, the dynamics of like financial things, I think, might be different in the house.
So you don't think that's gonna offend him, do you? That you're gonna make more money than him?
I don't think so, but I think there's always like a possibility. Just because I think guys have that natural, like, innate sense that they want to be like the provider, the family. Obviously, like, he still contributes to the house, so and like I'm not gonna make that much more money than him. It's not like it's like thousands of dollars or something, but
Right. So don't you think that with the guys, with them being the providers, sometimes that's a societal kind of thing, that the pressure that society puts?
yeah, but I think like I know like roles have changed a little bit
Mm-hmm.
in the modern age, but I think sometimes it's just like how you're raised, you know. And like I know he was raised that way, because his mom stayed home a lot when they were little. But he's not really like most guys, so I don't think it will really bother him as much as it would someone who, I guess, like has more of that like societal view on it. He tries to like see things like individually instead of like all in a glass box, I guess.
So tell me what you mean by he's not usually like that. He's not usually like most men. What do you mean by that statement?
Well, I guess like he doesn't expect me to do everything all by myself. Like he, like I said, he's stepped up as a parent a lot, and like he doesn't expect me to go to work and then come home and do all the dishes and all the laundry and clean the house and do everything by myself. I mean, there are certain things, I guess, like that I don't really like for him to do because I have my own way, but he tries to contribute where he can, you know. But it's hard because he works a lot, so.
So what you mean is that your husband doesn't necessarily see your role as a wife and a mother, somebody that has to do the normal woman things like doing the dishes and cooking and doing the laundry and all that kind of stuff without him contributing.
I think he's not like 1950s, you know.
The old school.
Yeah, like he knows like just because he works, like I work too, you know. Like he doesn't see it as like a me or her kind of thing. It's like we're a team, you know, and like some people don't see it that way. So I just think like his perspective is more up to date, and you know, he just recognizes that it's not one or the other person's job, you know.
Right, he's got a more modern view of things, and he realizes that in the world today that men and women both have to sort of flip-flop roles to
make
keep the family work.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've got a pretty good husband going on there.
Yeah, he's good to me.
That's good. I bet he's proud of you, too, for this new
Yeah, he's
adventure.
Actually been very supportive through the whole thing. There was a time where I was kind of like competing, I guess, for the job. Back when my old store manager got the job, and you know, he was just really positive through the whole thing. And even since I didn't get it, like then, he's still been like very positive about like where my future was headed, and he's just very encouraging and supportive. Like, I actually thanked him for that because it's really nice to have someone who's on your side and not someone who's against you, you know? Like, he doesn't see this as a bad thing or something that's going to, like, affect him in a bad way. He wants me to, like, achieve all my dreams, and he knows that it's something that I was really passionate about, so, like, of course he wants that for me, you know?
It sounds wonderful that he's really on board and encourages you to be all
Yeah.
that you can be and where you want to go with your life.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like always been that way since we got together. He's just very like supportive of whatever I want, basically. Like he's never been the type of person that would tell me no
Mhm.
or say that I couldn't do something, you know.
Mhm.
So it's kind of nice that way.
So it sounds like he's a pretty good husband then to you and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's able to sort of just kind of do everything, Mr. Mom, and more or less, and encourage you and.
Yeah, I mean, like he sets a very good example. I think he's definitely like the head of the house and stuff. Like we make decisions together, and I don't know. Like I know a lot of husbands don't weigh in on things or they just don't care, but he's very active in marriage and in his parental role. So
So tell me, do you feel that you both balance the roles out in the household pretty well, or is there any improvements that you feel that need to be done?
well, I think just because I had been closing a lot
Mm-hmm.
at work, I think that I've kind of gotten out of the rhythm of some of the things that we normally do with the kids and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's work on my end to be done as far as the parenting role goes. Um, but then on the same token, like, he's really good with that, but then, like, sometimes because he has to do that, I think he forgets about, like, helping with stuff. Like, he'd rather have me ask him to help rather than just, like, notice that something needs done and do it. So that could be frustrating, but, like, he knows where he's at with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll get better. You know, it's like I said before. It's just like you never like stop improving. You know, you can't because no one's perfect. And I think if you don't want to improve, then like things are never gonna change for the better, or like you can't be at your happiest if you don't want to fix your problems.
Right. It's true. Now, so what things would you say you would want to improve in the household going into this new change?
I guess like I don't know, like I just need to be more organized about stuff. Like, um, a lot of it really is like um, just silly things. At least to me, it's silly, but
Mm-hmm.
like I mean, our house isn't dirty or anything. It's just there's like stuff, and like I try to get rid of stuff, and then it seems like there's just more stuff. And so I've been trying to like sell things and stuff, but it's just kind of a slow process, especially because I work so much.
Mm-hmm.
But being more organized with everything would be good.
Mm-hmm.
It would help like my work too, because then wouldn't have to think about like, oh, what's going on at home while I'm at work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we have a really bad like setup for our clothes right now, which is causing us to like not want to put them away and stuff because we really don't have any place to put them right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like we need like some kind of organization method for that. And I think once we have that, it'll just be easier to do because then it's like a 2-second thing rather than feeling like every time you want to get clothes, it's like a process, you know?
Right. So it sounds like you've really had a pretty good week, and it sounds like we've got some, good goals to take home and think about. So we're going to wrap up the session because we're almost out of time here. So what I'd like you to do is take what we've talked about today and go home and maybe talk to your husband about how you guys brainstorm some things, how you can get more organized in your house. That's something you want to do, and also figure out what you'd like to do to make it easier to put away your clothes. If there's something you need to buy to do that, or
Right.
what kind of thing you'd like to do to make that a little easier.
Right.
You think that those are some good things to work on?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we had a good session. We had a good talk today, and I want to thank you for coming in. And I hope to see you next week about this time, the same day. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.